Good evening, and welcome to the May 2nd Committee of the Whole meeting. Township Council and staff at this time would like to acknowledge the passing of a wonderful resident, Warren Vincent. This gentleman was truly a community individual. He had his heart and soul in this community and the people here. A lot of the things evolved within our township strictly due to the drive of Warren Vincent. He left an amazing legacy, of which his family is truly a part of, as they are equally involved in the community and have a love and heart for North Dumfries. So this council at this time would like to pause as we acknowledge the life and memories of Warren Vincent. Thank you. For this Committee of the Whole meeting, members of the public may watch or participate electronically in this open meeting using any of the following methods. Attend the Township office located at 2958 Greenfield Road, Dumfries Room. Watch the live stream by accessing the meeting on the Township's YouTube page. You cannot directly participate in the meeting via the live stream, as this is for viewing only. Attend electronically to observe the meeting or to speak to an item on the agenda. To attend electronically, members of the public must register with the Clerk's Division at clerk@northdumfries.ca before 6 p.m. on the Sunday, May 1st. A Zoom link will be provided to those who registered before the registration deadline. Or you can submit written comments at clerk@northdumfries.ca. That will be provided to the Mayor and Council prior to the meeting and will form part of the public record. I'd now like to call this meeting to order, and can I have approval of the agenda, please?
I move myself and second by Councillor Ostner that Council adopt May 2nd, 2022 Committee of the Whole agenda as presented. Following addendum, item 1, add item 7.1 report number BLDG02-2022 fence variance request for exterior side yard 56 Challenger Avenue.
Thank you, Councillor Rowland. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to do the Indigenous Territory Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the lands on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements and their contributions to our community. We offer this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples of Canada. I'd now like to pause for a minute as we reflect back on the past, as we today seek to learn so that we can move forward for a stronger Canada. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing no hands. A motion to adjourn council to sit as Committee of the Whole.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Rowland, the council adjourned to sit as Committee of the Whole.
All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. There is nothing in finance, so we'll go right down to developmental services. Would council wish to speak to any of the reports under developmental services? Don't see any, so can I have the fence bearing request of exterior side yard, please? 7.1.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Rowland, that the Committee of the Whole recommend the following item be approved as presented as outlined in the staff reports listed in the Development Services function area. 7.1 report number BLDG 02-2022 fence variance request for exterior side yard Challenger Avenue. that building report number 02/2022 be received, and that the request by the property owner of 56 Challenger Avenue seeking a variance to fence bylaw number 2644-2014 to allow a 2-meter or 6.5 foot high fence for the exterior side yard adjacent to Challenger Avenue be granted.
All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Next, we have the community services function. We have report number Rec 11 2022 progress update, a draft leisure master plan presentation from Todd Brown, principal, Monteith Brown, planning consultant. Todd, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of Council, staff, and public. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you an overview of the Leisure Services Master Plan. I'm Todd Brown with Monteith Brown Planning Consultants. Joining me tonight is Dennis Kwan, a senior planner with our firm, who has been extensively involved in this study. So tonight, we're going to present an overview. If there's any questions following that or any clarifications, we'd be happy to answer those with the council. So I'm going to turn it over to Dennis, and Dennis is going to run us through a brief presentation.
Thank you, Todd. Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good evening again, everyone, Mayor, councillors, and staff and members of the public. I will just cycle through. Oh, perfect. So the Leisure Services Master Plan is a document that will provide the township with a guide for parks, recreation, and culture opportunities over the next 10 years. The master plan will be a guiding document for council and staff to help understand what community needs are and strategies to achieve those needs. It will also be used to support other township initiatives, decisions, and processes such as your annual budget. The master plan is an evidence-based plan. It considered a number of inputs that informed 87 draft recommendations contained in the master plan. We reviewed key background documents such as your strategic plan. We've reviewed your community profile, researched leisure trends and impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've also consulted with the public, and we've reviewed the township's facility inventory and usage data, as well as we looked at facilities that are also in the region. We prepared the master plan to align with the department's the mission statement. The mission statement speaks to enhancing quality of life for residents in the township and ensuring that leisure opportunities are available for all ages and abilities. We felt the statement is appropriate to continue guiding the department over the life of the master plan. North Dumfries' current population is approximately 10,600 residents. And by 2031, Waterloo Region estimates that the township will grow by about 2/3 to reach 17,500 residents. The majority of this growth is expected to be accommodated within the Ayr settlement area with limited growth in the rural areas. The township population is aging, and this is consistent with provincial trends. And this may suggest that the township may face more pressure for older adult and senior services, but there will also be a continued need to provide leisure opportunities for all ages and abilities. So there are a number of leisure trends that were important in the development of the master plan, and some of the key trends are highlighted here on this slide. So the lack of free time is often the number one barrier, as people the barrier to participation, as people really don't have time anymore to participate in leisure. And what this really means for municipalities is that there is a growing need to be more flexible to accommodate residents. There's also growing income disparity among households, so it's important that low cost or no cost opportunities are available for residents to get active. There's also evidence of physical inactivity levels, and this is primarily driven by the lack of time. And this goes back to the need to be more flexible in providing leisure activities. Demand for active transportation opportunities have always been, it's always been in high demand in many communities, but the pandemic has really shown how important they are to our physical and mental health. Municipalities are now required to meet accessibility requirements for all new and renovated facilities. And this will be an important consideration as the township moves forward with addressing its aging infrastructure. Modern parks and facilities are now multi-use rather than standalone to create destinations and community hubs. And celebrating the arts and cultural sector is another trend that recognizes and promotes local artists and opportunities. And celebrating or collaboration with others to form partnerships is particularly important in communities such as North Dumfries to share resources and responsibilities. So we undertook a number of consultation activities to collect input for the master plan. A virtual public information center was held on the township's website where information was posted about the master plan project, as well as ways that the public can get involved was also promoted. An online and hard copy community survey was undertaken to collect input on participation preferences, priorities, and satisfaction levels. We also undertook a stakeholder focus groups and staff workshops, and we held interviews with councillors and made an initial council presentation in September 2021. And we've also received written input. So to date, we've engaged over 600 households that represented more than 1,700 people, as well as we engaged 16 stakeholder groups, as well as met with staff and council. So following tonight's presentation, the public will have another opportunity to review the draft master plan and provide their feedback. So in terms of some of the key consultation themes that we heard that there was a strong demand for unstructured activities. Residents were proud of the amenities that the township offers, but there were also suggestions for new or enhanced facilities. We heard that the pandemic was influencing how people participate in their leisure time. And inclusion and accessibility were top of mind issues. Community groups and volunteers were viewed as a strength, but there were also concerns about volunteer retention and recruitment. And strengthening communication and marketing was also suggested. So based on the background research and what we've heard through the consultation, we've developed guiding principles to guide staff in delivering on its mission statement and the recommendations contained in the master plan. So citizens first really ensures that everyone is engaged. A variety of choice. It recognizes that people are looking for a range of activities. Stronger together speaks to working with your community partners. Outdoor experiences recognizes that it's critical for healthy outcomes. Access for underrepresented populations. It ties in with the need to be more inclusive. Acting as a central source of information recognizes that the township is where many residents get information. Measuring our effectiveness speaks to tracking satisfaction levels and participation to determine where the township has been successful. And fiscal sustainability ensures that your tax dollars are being used efficiently and effectively, and also leverages other programs such as grants. So as I mentioned before, the draft master plan contains 87 recommendations, but for tonight's presentation, we'll be touching on some of the key recommendations that we felt were key actions for the next 10 years. And we've grouped these recommendations based on themes for this presentation. So the first theme responds to the demand for leisure facilities. So proceed with constructing a second ice pad at the North Dumfries Community Complex to create a central location for ice sports and allows groups to grow their programming. Undertake an architectural exercise for the Air Community Center to investigate strategies to repurpose the arena to gymnasium and multi-purpose space to respond to community needs for indoor sports, recreation programs, arts and cultural space, and general meeting space. Position the Roseville Community Center as a community hub to serve rural residents by constructing a multi-use court for basketball and ball hockey, establishing a small-scale skateboard spot and spray pad, outdoor fitness equipment, and undertaking indoor space improvements to address aging components and accessibility. Revisit indoor pool needs as the township approaches a population of 25,000 to 30,000 people, and in the interim, evaluate potential site opportunities for an indoor aquatic center, and work with adjacent municipalities to ensure that residents have affordable access to swimming opportunities. And move forward with the development of Schmidt Park, including ball diamond improvements, tennis and pickleball courts, trails, a playground, green space, outdoor skating rink with and other amenities. A multi-use court for basketball and ball hockey should also be considered, as well as outdoor fitness equipment. A community level BMX pump track should also be explored, and this would be subject to securing external funding and a willing community partner. Establish a small scale skateboard park at a future neighborhood park in the south end of Ayr, and a small skateboard spot should also be constructed at Branchton Park and Clyde Park. Target a playground replacement after a life cycle period of 15 years. New or redeveloped playgrounds should incorporate barrier-free components and consideration should be given to natural and adventure play components at strategic locations such as at community parks. Explore the development of a disc golf course if there is a willing community partner coming forward with a proposal to establish a new level of service. Another key theme that we heard was strengthening trail connections. So the master plan speaks to updating the 2014 Trails and Cycling Master Plan to strengthen connections in North Dumfries. And the master plan provides high-level direction on creating a walking loop around the Ayr settlement area, establishing walking pathways within existing and future parks, identifying pedestrian circulation areas within future residential areas, strengthening connections to non-township owned trail systems, and potentially working with others to promote active transportation opportunities, and considering trail amenities in strategic locations, such as seating and signage. The last theme that we wanted to touch on was embracing arts and culture. So it's recommended that the township continue to promote and recognize existing arts and cultural opportunities in the township, as well as in Waterloo region. And alone or in partnership with others, explore opportunities to respond to arts and cultural requests within existing and planned spaces, including the repurposed Ayr Community Center and outdoor spaces. Proceed with establishing a farmers market at the Ayr Community Center and develop a special events and festivals policy to outline council's commitments, partnership conditions, and resource allocation. So by adopting the master plan, council is not bound to all 87 recommendations contained in the draft master plan. Township staff will bring individual recommendations forward through annual work plans over the next 10 years to be considered and integrated into your capital and operating budgets, and provide additional information for council to make informed strategic decisions. So over the life of the master plan, it's recommended that the township regularly track population projections, participation, registration trends, and usage data to address evolving needs and priorities, as well as to seek external resources such as grants and working with community partners. It will certainly play a key role in the implementation of the master plan. So in terms of the next steps, following tonight's presentation, we'll be launching the second virtual public information center to collect feedback on the draft master plan. So a full copy of the draft master plan and a summary will be available on the township's website, and the public will have an opportunity to review and provide their feedback through an online comment form, as well as through email. And staff will also be making the draft master plan and feedback form available by hard copy at public facilities. And the public will have approximately about 3 weeks to provide their feedback to us before the deadline on Friday, May 20th. So once the feedback has been received. We'll review the feedback and undertake any necessary revisions to the draft master plan before it comes back to council for final approval. So with that, I'd like to turn it back to Mayor and councillors for any questions that you may have.
Councillor Osman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have two comments / questions. The first one is in regards to page 7172 about the BMX pump track. And one of the second last sentences, it recommends building a community level facility versus a competitive level facility. So my question for that is the basis of that recommendation. And because my thought process is, would it not be more beneficial building a facility that hosts events from outside our community that supports tourism, local businesses, and local support groups? Some of the examples of facilities that we have that do that currently is the NDCC ice surface, the NDCC soccer pitches, the Scorpion sand volleyball courts that are coming, and Schmidt Park ball diamonds. All great facilities that we can host tournaments, competitions, bringing revenue and notoriety into North Dumfries, bringing people in and supporting our local businesses. So that was the question on the BMX pump track. And the other one was just a comment that I was surprised that under the aquatics that at least an outdoor pool is not recommended.
Okay. With regard to the pump track, really the thinking behind that is recognizing the size of your population, that a number of communities are around you and beyond are building such facilities as well, that we felt that there was a need to address local requirements and to really build the sport locally. There could be a time in the future where you expand it into a more competitive level that would attract tourism and things of that nature. But at this point in time, it would really be excessive until it is tested and grown in terms of a sport locally from our perspective. We did hear a lot of input from the community. And so we know that there is a strong interest in the pump track. But and it's more looking at the size of the community, the state of the interest, and opportunity to grow into the future. With respect to the aquatics, we did debate whether or not sort of an interim measure should be taken in terms of an outdoor pool. As you know, or likely know, there are a number of both indoor and outdoor pools in communities surrounding yours. And what we thought is that the best allocation of your resources, so really getting back to that financial sustainability element, is to try to work with other communities to keep access affordable for your residents and really focus in on that long-term construction of an indoor facility. Our concern was that if you do build an outdoor facility in the near term, then the demand for an indoor facility would really be pushed off probably several more years, where you would hit a population of probably closer to 40,000 people. Otherwise, you'd have two facilities operating, particularly in the summer months, and at a fairly substantial operating deficit for both.
Can I respond to that, Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So my only concern is, and raising my children in this town, and my friends raising children in this town, the biggest problem that we had, for example, with ice surface, people don't move into air to go and play hockey in Cambridge or go play hockey in Kitchener, unless they're on a AAA or the Cambridge Hawks or something. They want facilities that their kids can go to without them having to drive for half an hour. There's no incentive, or not much of an incentive, I should say, coming out to a community where you don't have facilities in your own community, enough facilities, and enough of a broad range facilities. If we start looking at facilities that are all around us, we wouldn't be building anything. So the whole idea of the plan, in my opinion, is to build facilities that are going to enhance our community, keep our children busy so they're not on the streets and hanging out the shortstop and doing things downtown, keeping them motivated and keeping them community oriented. And if we look at all the facilities that are in Kitchener and in Hamburg, Wellesley, everywhere else, that's just not going to happen. Our kids aren't standing around looking for something to do in Kitchener. They're standing around in Ayr looking for something to do. And I hope that if we build the facilities in the town, we build it to draw more people into our town to see how beautiful North Dumfries is and how we can showcase what we have, because we have a beautiful community.
You do, and I agree with what you said in terms of making sure that people are engaged and want to participate. And in this plan, we've identified a wide range of activities, programs, and different facilities that would enhance opportunities for all age groups and interests. So, we're focusing in on that. We did talk to some scrape, which is more geared to the young kids to cool off in the summer, granted. But we look to other communities of your size, and we know that they have gone forward with pool facilities, and they're putting a tremendous burden on the municipality to deal with the deficit, which is annual. It can run many hundreds of thousands of dollars annually for a pool. So we're concerned about the capacity of the municipality and balancing with the other recommendations that we were making to make sure that we really prioritized where we thought that you should be.
Thank you, Todd. Councillor McCreary.
Thank you, Mayor Foxton. I'm wondering about the parks inventory on page 81. I'm glad to see that the report is recommending that the township improve the amenities in the parks in the rural areas, in Ward 3 and Ward 4. I think those parks have been a little bit neglected, and they do have lots of potential. I think people would enjoy seeing them fixed up a bit. I've got one question about an area which is not listed under the parks inventory. That would be what I would refer to as the Ice House Park, which is at the end of Tannery Street. Now that area does have some recreational opportunities because it's right on the Nith River. And I know that it is the subject of another study right now, which is outstanding. So I'm just wondering, how are we going to incorporate the study on that area into this leisure master plan study?
If I may step in.
Better.
I was just going to say that we are doing a study, and I believe Councillor Zali talked about developing that itself. So this is this study was from the community. It was community based from the people, whereas the study you're talking about, Councillor McCreary, is our wish on how we want to develop that land. They may cross over, as you say, into recreation and different forms of leisure, and you're absolutely correct, but I don't think we're going to miss it. Councillor McCreary.
One reason in particular why I would mention the Ice House Park area is because there's currently a boat launch there, what I would call a boat launch. That's a place where many people come put in their kayaks and canoes into the Nith River. I noticed that one of your recommendations, number 33, you recommend creating a boat launch at Piper's Glen. And that's an area farther down the river. I would be concerned about promoting boat launch or watercraft launch there when we already have one at the Ice House Park area, because the area at Piper's Glen is a very sensitive natural area. There's a lot of wildlife out there. In fact, there's a bald eagle nest out there. That is an area which is used extensively by wildlife photographers, and people come from all over. They come from Cambridge, Mississauga, Brampton. They come with huge cameras, and they will stand out there for hours quietly watching the birds and taking pictures. Now, I know that you did acknowledge that putting a watercraft launch at Piper's Glen might have an impact on that area. I think it's sort of is in contrast with another recommendation, number 45, which says that we should protect and enhance the natural environment. I think we have to be very careful about promoting a boat launch at Piper's Glen when we could be disturbing some very sensitive wildlife areas in an area that we have that's very unique and a lot of people come to see.
You're absolutely
Yes,
right,
that's
Councillor
it.
McCreary.
Sorry.
Really strong points. Go ahead, Todd.
I was just going to say, those are good points. And one of the reasons why we tied that recommendation to working with the Conservation Authority was to make sure that it could be done in a sensitive way. And if it's not possible, then it would not be, it wouldn't move forward, obviously, and it wouldn't move forward with council's approval. What we did hear from the public is that they wanted to see more opportunities to get access to the water. And so we were trying to find opportunities that would be appropriate, and where they were perhaps had some environmental concerns, ensuring that the Conservation Authority was worked with to make sure that any kind of impact was really minimized.
If I may for a second, Todd, you don't have to justify it because you did a good job. But with the residents or the council's knowledge, that extends beyond what even the residents may have addressed to you. So we will just add what Councilor McCreary is telling us on top of the knowledge you have provided to say, yes, a boat launch is needed. The better spot may be down at the ice park. And thank you. Councilor McCreary, would you like to respond?
Yes, I'd just like to add that the report comments on not allowing motorized boats to be launched there at Piper's Glen. Well, the water there is so shallow that no one would want to be putting a motorized boat there anyway. But if someone wanted to put a canoe or a kayak there, they can do that now, because all you need to do is have basically a dirt path that would get you to the edge of the river. So people could park their car at the current parking lot and just walk in with their watercraft, and it wouldn't be a problem. And I think if we're to try promoting launching watercraft somewhere else, maybe we should look at areas where the Nith River crosses a road, such as Nith River crossing Trussell Road. Maybe there's a place, an area where we could make it easier for people to get down to the river there.
Thank you, Councilor McCreary. Councilor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just adding to Councilor McCreary's concerns about Piper's Glen, I would be worried about safety there, because it is quite a ways to walk from the parking lot down. And if we put a parking lot closer to the river, it's going to be blocked. And I would worry about the kind of events that happen back there because it's so secluded. So that's one concern that I do have with a boat launch there. I see them every weekend out front of my house at the Ernie's parking lot, canoe after canoe after canoe, and kayaks. They all come down, and Jim has a ramp down there that he has built on the property that allows them to get to the river quite easily. So I think it's a good, safe place for people to park their vehicles. And it's a good, safe place for kids to be. Whereas I'm a little worried about Piper's Glen because I think it's a little secluded. But and again, just adding to Mayor Foxton that Todd, you guys did do a great job on this, and we're trying not to pick it apart. But while things are fresh in our mind, we do have to raise concerns because we've lived in the community so long. I know the kind of events that happen down at Piper's Glen, so I'd be a little worried about making it a little bit more convenient for these sort of things to happen. But they can happen anywhere. But I'm just glad that a lot of thought was put into the different avenues of the report. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Austin. Todd and Dennis, this is a great report. It really is. What has surprised me is the number of things you stated in the report that council has already initiated, and even starting this year. So the tie-in was bang on for me. the point about Councillor Austin making about an outdoor pool, I have to tell you, I grew up in golf when it was small. And they had season passes, and I, as a child, could walk to the pool and be there every single day of the summer. And I and my siblings were. So that's something council will keep in the back of mind, understanding that pools run a huge deficit, even more so than an ice bath. And but we'll balance all that out. We will not put it aside. And Councilor McCreary, you're absolutely correct. And Councilor Austin, that we know that most lawns, we've always wanted the canoe launch down by the ice house. And so Todd, you're stating that you need a boat launch. You're absolutely correct. We know a better location for it. That's all we're stating. It's a great report, and we thank you very much for it. I don't see any more questions. I'm going to have Councillor Austin read the resolution, and then I'm going to go back to Councillor McCreary because I forgot to bring the motion forward for the fence law. So Councillor Austin, first, please.
We already did that.
Isn't it Councillor
No, I
Austin for
did,
the,
I did challenge it.
We it's approved as presented.
what was,
That one was.
but I never took the vote. You told me the fence?
It's the one we're on right
Oh, right. So it still has to be read in.
now. And so Councilor McCreary has it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Councillor Austin that had it. Councillor McCreary, go ahead.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ossner, the council receives a presentation from Todd Brown representing Monteith Brown with thanks. And the council received correct report number 11/2022 for the purposes of information and update on the status of the Leisure Services Master Plan project. And that staff and a consultant commenced the second round of public engagement on the draft Leisure Master Plan with the future report to be presented to council.
All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor McCreary, would you read also the fence one that Councillor Austin, will you read the fence that challenger that I missed?
We've already done that
Already
one.
read.
We didn't vote on it.
Yes, we did.
Did you read that already, Councillor Austin? Did I mess it up? Sorry. I apologize.
That was item 7.
There, I signed it. Okay, thank you. So, Councillor Gillespie, you have a motion to approve item 4 for discussion was none, right? So the next motion we have,
Yep, so unless anybody wants to pull anything.
does anyone want to pull any of the items from 9.1 to 9.4? Seeing no hands, we will have that motion brought forward, Councillor Gillespie, but you do not have to read it in its entirety.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Rollerman, that the committee of the whole recommend the following items be approved as presented as outlined in the staff reports listed in the Governance and Protective Services function area. 9.1, report number CLK 13-2022, the Integrity Commissioner Agreement. 9.2, report number CLK 14-2022, 2022 to 2026 Joint Municipal Election Compliance Audit Committee. Report number CLK 15-2022, dedicate as a public highway, industrial road. And 9.4, report number FD 06-2022, Fire Department Incident Response Summary, April 2022.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now we'll reconvene back into open session. Councillor Austin, please. Councillor Roman, please.
Moved by myself and by Councillor Ossner, the committee of the whole is hereby adjourned and the council meeting called back to order.
All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And next we have the bylaw, please, Councillor McCreary.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ossner, the bylaw number 3323-22, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Committee of the Whole on May 2nd, 2022, be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed, signed, and sealed by the mayor and clerk.
All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Roman, please, the agenda.
Moved by myself, so by Councilor McCreary, that whereas business before this committee of the whole meeting has been completed at 6:39 p.m. And be resolved, this meeting adjourned, meets again on May 16th at 6 p.m. for regular council meeting.
All those in favor? Thank you.